Samuel Jaskilka, a four-star general who rose to assistant commandant of the Marine Corps. He's used to questions about his name.
Well, you know, everybody ever saw it. It was quite a mouthful for most people. And so I'd spell it out for them, tell them to pronounce every letter, and they'd have it made. And they'd ask inevitably, what kind of a name is that? And I'd say, it's Ukrainian. And almost inevitably the answer would come back, well, that's Russian, isn't it? And I'd say, the hell it is. It's Ukrainian, and there's a difference. I feel I'm of Ukrainian descent with absolutely no ties to the Russians. You know, many people claim that I've come from Polish extraction. And, of course, it took me quite a while to convince them that such is not the case. But the most interesting example, I think, took place in 1976 after the Olympic Games in Canada. It seemed that the United States and the USSR had a dual track meet at College Park in Maryland. Prior to that event, the Washington Post hosted a cocktail party for the officials of both teams. And since the U.S. Marine Band was playing the music for the opening ceremonies, I was invited to attend the cocktail party and indeed the meet, and I'm a great sports fan. Well, sure enough, in about 5 minutes, one of my hosts took me over to meet Ambassador Dobrynin of the Soviet Union and introduced me to him. And I can tell the minute he said my name, the light came on Ambassador Dobrynin's head. And it wasn't long before he said, General, what kind of a name is that? And my answer was, sir, my parents came from the Ukraine. Ah, he said, Ukrainian people. He said, they are certainly fine musicians. I said, yes, my mother told me. And he said, and the Ukrainians are fine poets. I said, yes, sir, my mother told me that too. About that time, he noticed that I was a U.S. Marine, and he said, you know, General, the Cossacks were fine fighters. I said, yes, I know, my mother told me that too. Well, then a few more innocent comments passed, and finally he came back in his affable fashion, and he said, you know, General, we're all Russians. And I said, not according to my mother, sir.